Hi, I'm Avery Davidson.
And I'm Kristen Oaks White. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together each week. Well, 81% of the rice eaten in the United States is grown by a farmer in the United States. That's according to the USA Rice Federation.
Normally, a rice farmer harvests the crop and takes it to the mill. It's a sure bet to get paid. In St. Landry Parish, one risk-taking rice farmer is gambling that you would like rice milled by the people who grow it.
The bright red bin is about the only feature about this metal building at James Farms that makes it look any different from any other farm building in St. Landry Parish. But if you take a chance and go inside, you might hit the jackpot. That's if you like rice. And Beth James and Rolando Sanchez, they're betting their lives on rice.
We bring it into here with this auger right here. And then we have this elevator that is going to bring the rice, the paddy rice, into the cleaner. This is the mill itself right here. This is where the milling is done. The bran comes out right here, and the white rice will come out on this side of the machine.
The way Sanchez explains it, the process seems simple, but after playing it safe raising crawfish for so many years, growing, milling, and selling what's branded as Prairie Ronde rice was quite a gamble.
We were getting in something we didn't know.
But that has not stopped Sanchez or James before. You see, it was Beth's father, Laddie James, who met the Sanchez family in Mexico and offered a young man a new life.
I think for Mr. James, it was a gamble for him to bring me over here because he didn't know me. I didn't know where I was coming here for. I knew he was going to be working on a farm, but I didn't know what kind of work or what kind of farm was going to be.
Rolando came here as a really young man, and he lost his father, and my dad took him under his wing and really gave him an opportunity. But more importantly than giving an opportunity is the fact that you take the opportunity. And he had the chutzpah or the courage or whatever it is to come in and work hard and learn everything he could, and now he's extraordinarily successful.
Successful enough for the Natural Resource Conservation Service to name Sanchez Farmer of the Year this past March. Perhaps it's because Laddie James would gamble on almost any crop, be it crawfish, catfish, or even frogs.
I think that's one of the reasons that I kind of learned that to keep trying something, you know, even that's something that you don't think is possible to do. You just gotta go and try it. If it doesn't work, well, go to the next thing.
Right now, that next gamble is Prairie Ronde rice. Before going all in, James and Sanchez hedged their bets.
We took some of our rice to have it tested. When they test the rice that we produce over here, the quality was really good. That really gave me a lot of encouragement to keep going to learn more about the rice.
Which included first selling it at farmers markets.
I wanted to make sure that people really liked our product. I didn't want to go out there with our names on the bag and, you know, not have something that people really like. So I wanted to test it and make sure we were doing everything that we could do to make it the best product we could deliver.
So why would these successful farmers gamble their success by investing in this mill and becoming vertically integrated, meaning they're the ones taking the risk from the seed to the table?
I believe that we're going to see more people going vertical in terms of delivering from their farm to the consumer, because the prices are so depressed, it almost doesn't pay to farm anymore. And you know, we have to feed this country, and we have to feed the people in Louisiana. And this is one way we can continue to do what we do and love doing and be successful.
Right now, you can find Prairie Ronde rice at a few select grocery stores in Opelousas, Baton Rouge, Mandeville, and New Orleans. James says that she hopes to expand to more stores in the coming weeks. You can learn more about Prairie Ronde rice on our website at twilatv.org. But I'm going to teach you a little bit more about Beth James right now. When talking to both her and Rolando, I didn't realize that Beth was married to the lead singer of the Radiators out of New Orleans, a guy by the name of Dave Malone, great vocalist, great guitar player, and definitely one of those bands that just really hit it in the 80s, and they're still going strong. But now they do some cooking demonstrations on NOVA.com. It was really neat to see them doing that.
Well, it must be your genre of music because I have not heard of them.
They're not heavy. They're good Southern rock, really great guitars, really great vocals, keyboards, the whole nine. They do great stuff in the studio, but I think they're even better live.
Well, I'll have to look them up, Avery. Well, spring is definitely here, and it's one of my favorite seasons, and Avery, you know why, right?
Yeah, because my allergies act up and you love to see me suffer. No, it's because you get to go in your garden every day.
That is it, and I love spending time in my garden. It's just the perfect time of year to not only be in the garden, but it's also a great time of the year to put most plants in the ground. Unless you're starting out from seed, but though that's where most of our plants we love come from.
This week, TWILA's Neil Melanson takes us behind the scenes to one Louisiana nursery where gardens are born.
When you're thinking about what landscaping to do around your home or business, sometimes all you want is like a shape or a color like red and yellow, or purple, or white, or even some lush green. Sometimes it's more specific, like you want daturas, or lilies of the Nile, or eugenia, or the increasingly popular knockout roses. Whatever it is, when you want something from your local nursery, they need to have it. And they turn to Bracey's Nursery, more than 250 acres of wholesale plants here east of Amite.
So this time you want to do color in your yard, if you want to do some landscaping or change out some beds, or, just whatever, this is a good time of year to plant. They always said, fall's the time to plant, and it is, but people is just not quite in the mode at that time of year to do it. This is when you want to be out playing.
As you can see here at Bracey's Nursery, inside the greenhouse and out, it's just a riot of color as far as you can see. That's no accident. It belies a complicated system that keeps nurseries all across the Southeast and indeed the U.S. supplied with the plants you love all year long.
Driving around with Bracey here among all the pretty fields, it becomes apparent this isn't just a clearinghouse for plants. It's a full working farm, according to manager Doug Schmidt.
That's all this is glorified farming.
Bracey says it might be glorified, but that comes from the fact that with so many varieties, it's a lot to keep track of.
It's not like, row cropping, you got one crop out there and, you go out there and look at it and you know it so in depth. These guys got to know all of these. And it's just pretty sophisticated.
With upwards of 2 million plants here, each one getting daily visits, it also takes a lot of farm labor to manage that. Bracey's employs more than 100 people here, moving more than 70,000 plants per week.
We work in 3-man crews, and they've got a trailer per man, depending on what size container goes on the trailer. Like the guys setting out 3-gallon cans, put out about, 330 on a trip.
Now, next to these knockout roses, there's a knockout system for watering those plants that doesn't waste a drop, not because the law requires it, but so Bracey's can be a good neighbor.
We have 6 ponds. This is the biggest one by far, but 100% of our water is drained off and recaptured. We have no runoff off this place.
Bracey's does have to follow his consumer trends just like the rest of farming and business. For instance, those knockout roses are part of a larger trend of increasingly knowledgeable consumers who want high-quality brand names for plants.
And what you're getting is you're getting a superior plant that has superior qualities with it. And the consumer's always looking for something new.
And if you're wondering what's trendy in landscaping right now, well, Randy says, just take a look around.
But we're seeing across the board, from the trees to the shrubs to just about everything. It's been in strong demand.
I think, again, it's important to note that Bracey's is a wholesaler, meaning they sell the plants to your local nursery. Now, as you saw in the video, they're a big operation with 250 acres. That's just huge for landscaping plants. And they've built up a high-quality reputation in their industry, in part due to how well they treat their labor force. Randy did tell me, though, that even with their sterling reputation, it's getting harder to find workers.
We talk about labor, and this year is the first year that we've ever had problems getting labor. And I'm not talking about local labor, I'm talking about Hispanic labor. We use a federal guest worker program, H-2A program. We've been on for 20 years. It's been a great program, even though it's overburdensome with all the regulations. We have guys who've been coming back for 20 years. But we fill in without labor with a lot of local Hispanics and stuff, or locals that show up. This year, we could not find any. And you think about it, we can hire about 100 guys out in the field. And we have a good name out in the industry, not just the industry, just the community. and we could not find anybody to work. And so labor is going to be a major problem facing us in the future.
Now, when I was out there, I saw modern permanent housing for the workers, and there's 2 more units being built right now, as well as laundry facilities and even a soccer field for them to play on. So their modern amenities certainly are there. And guys, you know, I know it's easy to think about that with Bracey's selling to nurseries who sell to consumers that it might add cost. But what actually happens is it's a huge agricultural operation, and every one of your local nurseries would have to grow their own plants, and that would actually be much more expensive than doing it in one centralized location. And of course, they sell all throughout the Southeast. They only sell to independents, though, no big box stores.
Well, you know, it makes sense when you start to think about it, because we're not subsistence farmers, so it's cheaper for us to go out to the grocery store and buy the food that farmers grow for us than it would be for us to grow everything ourselves.
That's exactly right, and they are, as they said, an agricultural operation. Now, one question I have for you is, on every one of these shoots, what do we hear from Kristen?
You bring me something? You bring me something?
What'd you bring me back?
Well, I did bring you something.
He takes down a light.
There you go.
Wow.
Your very own tree.
You shouldn't have.
I know. Here, let me move it over here so you can have this.
How much does
next
that
to you
weigh?
there. It's a 6-foot-tall Italian cypress, and they're really good to grow in. They're really good to plant rather in autumn.
I'm so excited because I don't know how you knew, but I've been looking at these for the longest time. I wanted 2 of them to plant in front of my house, and I cannot wait to get this on the ground when I get home.
Well, you're
I might
welcome.
even plant it tonight.
There you go. That should make up for many, many times where we brought you back nothing.
Hey, I'd rather have this than a king cake or
You'll have it
wine
forever.
any day.
They grow to 70 feet tall, by the way, or up to 70 feet tall.
You made her a tree hugger. Thanks, Neil Malaso.
Only an Avery Davidson joke would come after that. Well, new farmers markets are popping up in every corner of our state, and as of last week, there's another one to add to that list.
This week, TWILA's Carl Wiggers shows us what residents in Washington Parish can expect to find every Saturday in Bogalusa.
Fresh green produce, large ripe tomatoes, beautiful red strawberries, and customers of all ages. These are the ingredients for a great day at the freshest farmers market in the state.
This particular market in Bogalusa is something that the city of Bogalusa has needed for a while.
Michael Norman is the manager of the newly opened farmers market in Bogalusa. He says a market like this offers so much to the community.
You'd be able to find fresh fruit and vegetables, of course, fresh eggs, locally grown honey, locally grown jams and jellies, and baked goods and specialty items. And then, of course, we welcome crafts.
One of the tables to visit for fruits and veggies like this belongs to Linda Bertucci. She and her husband own and operate Ernie and Linda's Homegrown Produce. She says that for vendors and customers, this market is a win-win.
You're helping your neighbors, your neighbor farmers, and it's also helping you because you're getting a good product at a reasonable price.
A major advantage that farmers markets like this offer the customer is the interaction with the farmer behind the food that you take home to your table.
We stand behind it. I can tell you what's on it and when it was picked, and if you have any questions or any needs, you come to me. I'm the person that that brought it here and grew it and packed it and washed it.
For Norman, he believes the farmers market has more value than simply these products.
Through the farmers market, not only can the local members of the community engage in their craft or their farming and come to the market and earn some extra money, but it brings the entire community together.
So the farmers market helps us to eat healthier, it helps our rural economy, and it's a part of the social fabric. It becomes a community event.
Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry Dr. Mike Strain was on hand for the ribbon cutting of this inaugural event, which he believes is foundational to strengthening the area's economy.
And people say, why don't we have a big local food economy? Well, it takes the farmers markets and it takes those dollars. When you spend your money here, that money goes back into the farm, increases production, increases availability, so it all works together.
If your neighbor's got a few extra bucks in their pocket that they earned at the market, then they can spend it at the local restaurant or cafe, and then the money moves around. Everybody in Washington Parish eats, but most of that money leaves Washington Parish. There's no No reason for that.
That's what drives Mike Norman to work hard growing this farmer's market into one of which the community can be proud. In Washington Parish, I'm Carl Wiggers for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture.
Mike Norman says he hopes to see new vendors join the market, bringing eggs, honey, seafood, beef, and pork, as well as local crafts. But more importantly, he looks forward to you joining him at the Bogalusa Farmers Market every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Goodyear Park. For more information about this farmers market, go over to our website, twilatv.org.
Microgreens pack all of the beneficial nutrition of plants such as broccoli and Swiss chard in a tiny package. Microgreens are now all the rage in restaurants and health stores. As TWILA's AJ Sabine shows us, one nursery in West Feliciana Parish has cornered the market on this emerging source of nutrition.
Microgreens pack big nutrition in a small package. For former teacher Amy West of the West Dome Nursery just north of St. Francisville, this crop is like money in the bank.
So what makes them a microgreen is they're micro. But what's so special about them is that they have all the nutrients, the minerals and vitamins that they would have as a big plant. You just have more cellulose and starch between those nutrients.
According to West, consumption of any number or combination of these plants provides you with more valuable nutrients because you eat them raw and you're eating a bunch of them.
Well, sunflower has a complete amino acids, and it's a perfect for you because it gives you what you need to make your proteins in your body.
West says folks at the Baton Rouge Farmers Market, as well as other outlets such as restaurants, love the color as well as the more than 25 different varieties she grows.
They all have different special qualities. Amaranth has lutein and vitamin K, and so it's bought for that purpose. Let's see, the radish is high in vitamin C, and most all of them have higher quantities, 4 to 6 times more nutrients than their counterpart of buying them and eating just a leaf of cabbage or a leaf of radish.
In addition to microgreens, Amy West and her family, including son Ian, produce honey, herbs, and mushrooms. West says her whole operation exploded in popularity when she cultivated relationships with her couple.
Because you kind of get to know the people at the market, and you know what they like, and you'll suggest something on kind of like what they like. And working with restaurants, you can suggest something new by giving them a sample. And you know, when you buy from a big outlet, you don't have that same personal contact.
As you can imagine, this is a labor-intensive process. Wells cultivates her crop on hydro tables. Once mature, the greens are cut and dried by hand, then cooled for distribution. Wes explains her passion for this emerging food group.
People, they walk past me sometimes and they'll say it's cow feed, you know, and I'm like, cow feed? How can you think that? Because they're so fresh and vibrant and good, the phytonutrients, you know, it's the sunshine comes down and gives them so many nutrients, and they make us healthy. And I've been so healthy since I've been home and working outside, and of course working in the greenhouse.
The West Dome Nursery can be found at the Red Stick Farmers Market just about every Saturday. The nursery just launched a new website. For more information about West Dome Nursery, log on to our website at twilatv.org.
Still to come on TWILA, did you know that agriculture is magic? The LSU Ag Center is dazzling children and adults alike with this year's Ag Magic.
Before you sweeten your morning joe, before the icing on the cake, before the sugar hits the shelf. It begins with a family of sugarcane farmers dedicated to growing Louisiana for more than 220 years. The Sugarcane Growers of Louisiana, making life sweeter, naturally.
Sugarcane, sweet sugarcane.
I now hope they're fighting today.
I hope they are.
Find your place in the country and the lender who can get you there. Find Louisiana Land Bank. Financing for country homes, recreational property, farms and ranches, and agribusiness.
There is only one place of which I know where you can pet a Madagascar hissing cockroach, make animal tracks in the sand, and get licked by a Holstein cow all in the same visit. That place is Ag Magic. The LSU Ag Center puts on this event 3 times a year in 3 different parts of the state. Children of all ages can come here to learn about agriculture in a fun, interactive way. You can dig up real earthworms from the dirt, or if you still want to dig but you don't want to touch anything squiggly, how about sweet potatoes? Here's a cute little baby boy petting a dairy cow. That's my son Logan, and this is my shameless excuse to get him on TV. It helps that he really enjoyed going to Ag Magic. LSU Ag Center spokesperson Frankie Gould says this event is one of the best ways to introduce children to agriculture.
They can touch and feel, and they remember what they saw, what they smelled, how it felt, and then relate it to this food in the grocery store and then on your table at home. And they also learn about good nutrition, what makes a good plate of food.
In the Baton Rouge area, Ag Magic is this weekend at Parker Coliseum by the south gates of LSU on Highland Road. The event is free and doors open at 10 a.m. on April 8th and 9th. In the New Orleans area, Dockville Farms in Violet, Louisiana will present Ag Magic on Saturday, May 13th from 10 until 2. To learn more about Ag Magic, you can visit our website at twilatv.org.
Just more than a year after heavy rains and the rising Red River flooded fields in northwest and central Louisiana, it has happened again. This is video of Ryan Yerby's cornfield in Grant Parish. Yerby says what you're looking at is a foot of water on corn that just emerged from the ground. Radar estimates show upwards of 10 inches of rain fell in that area. Yerby says the water is draining off faster this year than last, and it's not likely he will have to replant his corn. However, the water did wash away the fertilizer he had just put down for the crop. We'll have more about how farmers documented this recent round of storms coming up in Trending on TWILA. Well, this week, more than 50 livestock producers from Louisiana are traveling to visit our neighbors in Arkansas. This is the 4th trip of its kind. Previous trips include tours of ranches across Texas and Mississippi. This trip is led by Louisiana Farm Bureau Commodity Director Ron Harrell. He says these trips are planned so that farmers and ranchers from Louisiana can see how producers outside of the state run their operations.
We want to go to where our folks can have a hands-on experience. And we try to go to operations where they can obtain information, either the purchase of genetics to bring back to improve their herds, or, as I mentioned earlier, the practices, production practices that some of these producers are using that they may not be using here in Louisiana. So yes, it is. It does make you feel good that you are contributing to the advancement of the beef cattle industry in our state.
Our own Carl Wiggers is on the beef tour, and we'll have more from Arkansas on next week's show. Well, coming up after the break, we'll take a look at some of this wild weather we've gotten just 2 weeks into April.
This week's Trending on TWILA is next. Stay with us. Now it's time for this week's Trending on TWILA. We were hoping to have lots of planting pictures that you submitted on the show to air this week, but torrential rains have delayed many farmers' planting progress.
As you saw earlier, some parts of Louisiana saw 10 to 12 inches of rain in just a 12-hour period, which left water standing on several fields where corn was already planted. Dustin Morris shared this video and said, "I don't know how much it rained, but I know it came in a hurry."
Scott Crawford Canada posted a pic of his field underwater, but he says he got his corn watered in. Robert Duncan says he's tired of taking pics of this field underwater in central Louisiana, where he saw 12 inches of rain Sunday night.
In fact, too much rain and muddy fields left most farmers stuck this week, and several of them posted photo evidence on the Southern Farming Facebook page. Michael King posted this photo of his Case tractor axle deep in the mud, while Levi Schott simply sent a Snapchat of his sticky situation. Jason Ainsworth posted a similar photo with his John Deere tractor. And judging by this picture, Randy Humphrey looks like he learned the hard way that it was just too wet to plant.
While it was too wet for most farmers in the state to get in the field, Colton Wilkin did share this photo with us on Instagram with the caption, "Headed out to plant my last 30 acres of corn." Glad you shared that with us, Colton.
We know this week was a tough one, but we still want to see all of your planting photos and videos. So share them with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram with the hashtag TWILAPlanters. And don't forget, we will send a few of our favorite submissions a special TWILA prize back.
Moving on to this week's trending trivia. Last week our question was, which crop helps to move the elevators inside the Statue of Liberty? And the correct answer is A, soybeans. The soybean oil is what makes it work. This week's trivia question is, which of these is the #1 fruit crop in the world? Is it A, apples, B, bananas, or C, strawberries? To enter this week's trivia contest, simply log on to your Facebook or Twitter account and post your answer with the hashtag TWILA Trivia, or you can always submit your answer online at twilatv.org.
Well, that does it for this edition of TWILA. Please join us again next week when we'll show you what Louisiana ranchers are learning to grow you a better steak.
Until then, you can watch all of our stories online at twilatv.org. Also, be sure to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and check out our stories on Snapchat.
For all of us here at TWILA, thanks for watching. We hope to see you again right here next week.